Hello and welcome back to Newsroom Nigeria. This is where we give you hot, fresh, and sizzling news all day long. If this is your first time here, you have not subscribed to this channel, what are you doing? Please go ahead and subscribe. Like this video, also leave your opinions in the comment section below. And without further ado, let's delve right into the details of today's news. The United States District Court for the District of Columbia has ordered top U.S. law enforcement agencies to release confidential information generated on President Bola Tinubu during a purported federal investigation in the 1990s. The judge, Barry Owell, made the order on Tuesday, saying that protecting the information from public disclosure is neither logical nor plausible. An American, Aaron Greenspan, has filed a suit in June 2023 under the Freedom of Information Act against the Executive Office for U.S. Attorneys, Department of State, Federal Bureau of Investigation, FBI, Internal Revenue Service, Drug Enforcement Administration, and the Central Intelligence Agency, CIA. In its complaint, Mr. Greenspan accused the law enforcement agencies of violating the FOIA by failing to release, within the statutory time, documents relating to purported federal investigations into President Tinubu and one Abiodun Agbeli. Between 2022 and 2023, Mr. Greenspan filed 12 FOIA requests with 6 different U.S. government agencies and components seeking information about a joint investigation conducted by the FBI, IRS, DEA, and the U.S. Attorney's offices for the Northern District of Indiana and Northern District of Illinois. According to Mr. Greenspan, the records being requested involved charging decisions on the activities, including money laundering of a Chicago heroin ring that operated in the early 1990s. In each FOIA request, the Americans sought criminal investigative records about 4 named individuals allegedly associated with the drug ring: Bola Tinubu, Leandro Edwards, Moise Adegboyega Akande, and Abiodun Agbele. After the request, all 5 U.S. agencies issued gloma responses, refusing to confirm or deny whether the requested records exist. Mr. Greenspan contested those responses at the Department of Justice's Office of Information Policy. The OIP, however, affirmed the agency's refusal to confirm or deny the existence of the issued records. The American then filed a lawsuit on 12 June 2023, naming the FBI, DEA, IRS, EOUSA, and Department of State as defendants and challenging each agency's response to the separate FOIA requests. Court documents show that the CIA was later added as a defendant in the first amended complaint, along with a challenge to that agency's glamour response to the plaintiff's FOIA request. On 20th October 2023, Mr. Greenspan filed an emergency motion seeking a hearing to compel the U.S. agencies to immediately produce records responsive to his FOIA request. He cited the Nigerian Supreme Court's plan to begin hearing arguments in 3 days' time in a litigation contesting Mr. Tinubu's 2023 election as the president of Nigeria. 3 days later, on 23rd October 2023, Mr. Greenspan's emergency motion was denied for failing to satisfy any of the requirements for emergency injunctive relief. Also, on that same day, President Tinubu moved to intervene in the case, citing his privacy interests in his confidential tax records and documents from federal law enforcement agencies that fall within the Privacy Act or exceptions to FOIA and should not be disclosed. In 1993, Mr. Tinubu was said to have forfeited $460,000 to the American government after authorities linked the funds to proceeds of narcotic trafficking. The issue of Mr. Tinubu's forfeiture of the funds featured prominently at the Presidential Election Petitions Court when his opponents Atiku Abubakar and Peter Obi challenged the president's eligibility to contest Nigeria's presidency. But the election court, in an unanimous decision, dismissed the suit, affirming Mr. Tinubu's election. However, on Tuesday, Judge Owell ruled partly in favor of Mr. Greenspan in the U.S. case. The judge noted that the glamour responses asserted by the FBI and DEA are improper and must be lifted. It said the FBI and DEA failed to show that they properly invoked FOIA. Mr. Owell said since it was acknowledged that Mr. Tinubu was the subject of an investigation involving both the FBI and DEA, they claimed that the glamour responses were necessary to protect this information from public disclosure is at this point neither logical nor plausible. Explaining his judgment further, Mr. Owell established that a FOIA requester may challenge the propriety of an agency's glamour response in two ways. First, by challenging the agency's assertion that confirming or denying the existence of any records would result in a cognizable harm under a FOIA exemption. And second, showing that the agency has officially acknowledged otherwise exempt information through prior disclosure, meaning that the agency has waived its right to claim an exception with respect to that information. In this case, the judge said Mr. Greenspan asserts both types of challenges to defendants' glamour responses. The plaintiff's argument that 1. DEA has officially confirmed investigation of Agbile's involvement in the drug trafficking ring. 2. The FBI and DEA have both officially confirmed investigations of Tinubu relating to the drug trafficking ring. 3. Any privacy interests implicated by the FOIA request to the FBI and DEA for records about Tinubu are overcome by the public interest in release of such information. And 4. The CIA has officially acknowledged records responsive to plaintiff's FOIA request about Tinubu. Meanwhile, the CIA has the judgment entitled in its favor in this case. The judge ruled that Mr. Greenspan has failed to show that the CIA has ever officially acknowledged the existence or non-existence of records responsive to his FOIA request. Therefore, the CIA's glamour response must be sustained. 5 of Mr. Greenspan's FOIA requests are still at issue in the parties' pending cross motions for summary judgment. During the hearing, the plaintiff agreed to narrow the issues of summary judgment briefing to defendants' glamour responses, redactions, and withholding as to Mr. Tinubu and Mr. Agbile only. This is why in this judgment, the judge ordered that the remaining parties, apart from CIA, to file jointly by 2nd of May a report on the status of any outstanding issues, in this case, as described in the accompanying order. Part of the document submitted by Mr. Greenspan to court to back his FOIA case was a verified complaint and accompanying affidavit filed in the Northern District of Illinois by the DOJ on 26 January 1993. The document sought the civil forfeiture of Mr. Tinubu's funds held by First Heritage Bank, allegedly connected to the drug trafficking investigation. The affidavit by Department of Treasury's Internal Revenue Service, IRS, Special Agent Kelvin Moss, who was involved in the investigation, detailed the drug trafficking activities of Mr. Agbile, which provided the ground for seeking the forfeiture of Mr. Tinubu's funds. It also shared insight into how Mr. Agbile was arrested while selling white heroin for a person not known to him to be an undercover agent. It stated that upon arrival in the United States, Agbile identified Akande, who has also been linked to Mr. Tinubu, as his uncle, and stated that Akande provided him, Agbile, an apartment in Hammond, Indiana, citing investigating agents of DEA as a source of this information. Furthermore, he said, according to DEA investigators, Mr. Agbile sold white heroin to another individual on numerous occasions. With the assistance of Source A, DEA called Mr. Agbile to purchase a small amount of white heroin, which resulted in a transaction where Agbile sold 1 ounce of white heroin to a law enforcement officer working in an undercover capacity. Subsequent to this sale, Agbile was arrested and agreed to cooperate with the investigation. The affidavit also stated that further investigation by DEA disclosed a lease application completed by Mr. Agbile. Mr. Morse's affidavit confirmed that both the FBI and DEA investigated Mr. Tinubu in the wider probe into the drug trafficking activities of Mr. Agbile and other members of his ring. It confirmed that there are probable cause to believe that funds and certain bank accounts controlled by Bola Tinubu were involved in financial transactions in violation of U.S. laws and represents proceeds of drug trafficking. It stated that seeking to target Mr. Tinubu's funds arose from investigation of money laundering of the proceeds of an heroin distribution organization in the Chicago area. The clues relied on were said to include information provided by special agents of IRS, DEA, and FBI. Let's have your thoughts and opinions in the comment section. Thank you very much for always listening and watching. I will see you in my next video. Bye for now.